Welcome back. President Cyril Ramaphosa is addressing the nation tonight. In fact, I can tell you our coverage will start at 6 p.m., the build-up to that speech by President Ramaphosa here on ENCA. Well, will he extend the lockdown or relax the regulations? If the president does relax the regulations, what will be the overall impact? How do we integrate gently back to the lives we've had? To talk to us more about this, I'm joined by Dr. Trevor Ngwane from the University of Johannesburg. So, Trevor, it's been a bit of a debate and a bit of a conundrum, and it's been framed as the impossible choice between saving lives by ensuring that you continue a strict and stringent lockdown to break the cycle of transmission on the one hand, but also at the same time you have to save lives in the sense that people without a livelihood are going to find it difficult to continue to survive. What is your assessment of how well this tightrope has been walked, particularly by the president?
Yeah, I think that firstly, in a way, it's not a real choice. I mean, we are Africans, we're in Africa, we know Ubuntu, so we always choose life over economy. I know that in an indirect way, the economy provides life, but I think at this juncture, to pose it that way, I think it might even border on cynicism. So I think lives come first. And then also, I think in balancing the interests of big business and of ordinary people, of vulnerable people, of course, the state must prioritize those who are poor, those who don't have enough resources to protect themselves.
So in that sense, then, what are the choices before the president this afternoon, this evening? Because part of the talk has been about easing some of the restrictions and allowing a phased return to production in certain sectors. Can that be achieved while preserving lives in the way that you and I are talking about?
Well, it has been the tendency in South Africa with the ANC government to always demand concessions from the poor, from the what we call now previously disadvantaged, and then to leave those, big business, those who benefited from apartheid, who are still benefiting from their, better position in the economy, they leave them be. So I hear now talk of tax cuts. Okay, that's fair, but I think what should be done is also make sure that the government is collecting enough taxes so that we have enough money to spend on social development. I also think that we have to look into price controls. Some companies are busy inflating prices. So we need to, inspect that. The police should be doing that job, but also to control the price of basic goods. The people are sitting at home. The only thing which will push the people out is hunger. And we cannot allow that to happen.
And lastly, your sense of the socio-economic response package of 500 billion rand that was announced a few days ago by the president. You also bring in the issue around tax cuts and the difficulties that individuals are facing is well documented, but also that business is facing is also well documented. What's your sense of the balance or balancing act that was undertaken at arriving at that socio-economic response?
Yeah, I think we should push harder. Look at what the USA is doing, spending all that money on poor people. We should do the same. Our people, they can't any belt. In fact, levels of poverty in South Africa today, they are bordering on the unbearable. So what I mean is it's now starting to eat away at the social fabric. So I think perhaps the coronavirus is an opportunity. It's a window of opportunity to do all the things that the ANC government has not been bold enough to do, such as moving on the national health insurance, moving on increasing social grants. I see they've been increased, but they're still very low, and also maybe providing a basic income grant for the unemployed. I think at the moment the unemployed
All right,
who are
Trevor
millions
Ngwane, thank you so much for that. The Skype line is letting us down there towards the end. That is Dr. Trevor Ngwane, who is a senior researcher at the University of Johannesburg.